Kogi JIHADIST threatens Yoruba people for rejecting Sharia law. It is time to start preaching jihad in Yoruba land. My dear listeners, here is an interesting episode of Gist we bring to your listening ears this morning. And before I go into the details, kindly please ensure you like, subscribe to this channel and share. Good morning and welcome to today's news. A recent online discussion has sparked concern within the Yoruba community after an Hokan man from Kogi State, who identifies more with his Fulani heritage, made alarming remarks directed at the Yoruba people. During a recorded X-Space discussion titled "No Space for Hate-Mongering in Nigeria," the individual stated, "It is time for jihad conversation to start," raising fears about the intent behind his words. His statement was filled with threat and intimidation, particularly directed at Yoruba conservatives. The Okunman, who is identified as Abil on the space, argued that the right of Muslims to practice Islam are under threat because the Yoruba people have rejected implementation of Sharia law in the southwest region. He said, "When you now have a particular tribe, and I keep saying it, Yoruba tribe fell so horribly. I don't know where we got it wrong, but I am ashamed that I even have traces of Yoruba heritage. When I look at what has happened in the last few hours or few months since the ISP Independent Sharia Panel conversation took off, it is unfortunate that the people we have even been putting our eyes on as being the most tolerant in terms of religion are very far from it. I say openly here that the Yoruba non-Muslims are the most intolerant human beings in all ramifications. I mean not just intolerance against Islam, they are the most intolerant, especially those that tag themselves conservatives. And they have one thing in common. These are people that don't exist off social media. That is one. Secondly, these are people that can't even point you to their father's house in the so-called Yoruba land. It is no longer a cruise. It is now very clear that there is an agenda to completely ostracize Muslims and Islams from southwest Nigeria. This is where jihad conversation comes about. For those of you bastards that don't know the meaning of jihad, record the conversation. I want to repeat it again. This is now the time that jihad conversation should be taking place. Your right to practice your religion is being threatened. That is why you are admonished. That is the only thing you should fight. You can fight when people are threatening you from practicing your religion. That is what is happening now. Your right to practice your religion peacefully is now being threatened. They don't want you to exercise your right to practice your religion. That is when jihad conversation should come about. That is why we should be discussing it. What is jihad all about? If you have state governors giving voices to the online mobs and vagabonds, and people who don't even have a name or a face, you have state government, you have Christian traditional rulers also amplifying and giving them voices, then you should know that you are now at the breaking point. He said they felt sorry for Muslims in southwest Nigeria, claiming that their plight is not different from that of Palestinians in Gaza amid Israeli occupation. He said, "You should know that you are now in a situation whereby you are not in any way better than the Palestinians and people in Gaza. The only difference is that while it is foreigners, The Israelis trying to steal the land of the Palestinians. Your so-called Yorubas are the ones trying to render you as second-class citizens in your own fatherland. They are ones that want to ostracize you and your religion simply because they are hitherto uninformed or the level of their Islamophobia cannot just be helped anymore. I would be surprised if we are having a conversation at the end of the day, we allow people with agenda to come and interject it. Describing himself as non-Yoruba, he said he is an Okon man with a Fulani mother. However, he said he identifies more with his Fulani heritage. Abe added that the conversation only setting the stage for what is to come in the coming days and months. He said, like I said, I am not a Yoruba man, I am an Okon man. I am not from the southwest, I am from Kogi State. And as a Muslim, the Sultan speaks for me. Now we've come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop by the comment section and let us know what your view is all about. Thank you for listening.